Hi everyone, thanks so much for coming along to this video today. Today we're going to draw these reindeer flying through the sky. You can get the downloadables to trace along with me and to paint along with me. They are available by joining my channel. It's only £2.99 a month. You get all of my traceables and you get all of my bonus videos as well, plus all the Learn to Draw sheets. So there's a lot happening over there. So all you need is some graphite paper, which you can get anywhere, art shop wise, online, Amazon and eBay even, and just trace from what I've given you. Well, once you've printed it out, and then you should have something like this. We're going to get started straight away. We're going to paint this in acrylics today. I have some mixtures already mixed up because I've done a few tutorials, and this one was today's one, Santa in the Chimney. So all you really need, I just want you to have a range of brushes, whatever you have. You need red, yellow and blue, the primary colours, because we mix all our colours, and you'll also need black and white. Obviously you would have needed already the acrylic paper or a canvas, depending on whatever you want to paint it on. Now these are illustrations rather than artwork. They are illustrative pictures. They aren't realistic necessarily, as you can see from the drawing. So we're going to go ahead, as long as you've got those main primary colours in black and white, you've got a palette to mix them on. You might want to get a spray bottle. I've got a spray bottle to keep mine wet, but I do have a stay wet palette as well, so you might want to look into stay wet palettes. Yeah, and that's it, a range of brushes, and away we go. So I'm going to start kind of just mapping in the colours a little bit of what I want where. The first thing I'm going to do is the moon. Now the moon, obviously, normally, oh, do you know what I'm going to do? I did it last time and I really liked it, so we're going to do it again, and we're going to take out a square on the picture so that when we're done it has a nice border, because in the past I've been doing it and I kind of just, the paintings have just been disappearing into the background, but I would much rather have a nice neat straight line, and it works well. It's sticking to my under paper, but it's fine. Okay, there we are. That's much better, much clearer. So I'm first of all going to map out the moon and the sky, because they are kind of the main background areas. And once we've done that, I just need to get my rag off the floor. I always say, just have a rag on your lap, and then you can just dry your brushes as you go. I won't take any excess paint off. So sky, we're going to go for kind of not a daylight sky blue. We're going to go for, like, it's really kind of very early morning, almost nighttime blue. So we're going to do that around the edges. So I've just mixed some ultramarine with some white, and I've just got it to the colour that I want. You can do it whatever colour you want, but because Santa's there and there's a big moon out, I felt as though it needed to be quite dark blue. And that way it gives a feeling of, it's the very early hours in the morning. They're just about to finish their very busy shift delivering presents. So we're just going to go all the way around. This is just the first layer, so don't worry too much. I am going to try and avoid things that I'm going to paint in, like their I was going to say, like their what are they called on their head? I can't think of the word. Somebody put in the comments. Antlers. Oh, my brain fog. It's so frustrating. Anyway, so we're going around there. The reason I have brain fog is because I have fibromyalgia, and it's very annoying and very frustrating, but I do manage, and everyone seems to understand, so it's all good. So I'm just going round everything with that nice darkish blue colour. It's that sort of end of the night coming into the morning type colour. Which I really like. So it's ultramarine blue, or whatever blue you have, with a little bit of white, get it to the colour you like, and then go for it. So I haven't minded going over the antlers there because I can still kind of see where they are. So, but I am going round the shape of the reindeer just because I don't want to lose the drawing. Because this is quite a tricky painting, quite detailed, I just want to show you how to do it without losing your drawing, because if you lose the drawing, it'll be difficult to get it accurate. Okay, so I'm just going over where I've been, and I'm kind of just smudging it so that you can't see too much of the underneath. Just basically doing a second layer, and then hopefully we won't have to worry about the sky again. Last time I did the sky, we made it quite streaky, but I want this one to be just kind of a clear block of colour. A nice clear block of colour, which I think we've got there, so I'm happy. Good. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, I'm going to go in, now I will use the same brush. I'm going to have a smaller brush, but I don't think so. So one thing you'll learn with the Heart and Design channel is that I think as I go. I don't plan. To be honest, I don't even think about it till I've drawn it. I know what I'm going to use. I know it's going to be acrylics, but I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to go about it, and I just do it as I go along. It's more fun that way. And also you get to see me make decisions, and you see why I make those decisions. I mean, I could sit here and do this perfect thing for you that's well practiced. I've rehearsed it 2 or 3 times, but you're not going to learn a great deal from that. You're not going to learn that it's okay to make mistakes and get it wrong. I'm doing quite dark clouds because then we'll come in with the highlights afterwards. So that's okay to do that. It's kind of a mid-grey. I'm happy starting them out like a darker grey because we can always light them up after. I tend to go for, normally I'll go for a mid-range of all my first colours to start with, and then come in with any darks or lights towards the ends, which you'll see in all my videos. That's what I do. Mid-range, first layer, and then highlights and darks afterwards, which I'm sure a lot of artists do. Right, but I am self-taught, so maybe they don't, maybe it's just me. So now I am going to come in with a very, very pale grey, like almost white, and we're going to just paint in the moon. And it doesn't need to be perfect because we'll come in and we'll tidy all the edges up after. Now with this, because it is quite nice and pale, I can go over my drawing and we can still see it. Just needs to be, oops, we don't want that. Just needs to be a really light touch and just smudge that colour round. And you do want to go over all of it because the moon will be behind everything. And those reindeer, they're complicated. They've got legs everywhere. So I'll warn you now, those legs, they're going to be the trouble spot, if there's going to be a trouble spot at all. So we've drawn in a nice moon shape. We've got in some different shades of grey and white, some darker in other areas. There we go. Oh, I mean, I went over the blue, but it doesn't matter because we're going to go around again anyway and tidy everything up. Mine's sticking to the sheet. I don't really want that. I want to be able to move it whenever I need to. So you need to be able to do that too. Right. So I would say I'm just going to go in with a slightly darker grey and just kind of do a little bit of an outline of the moon as though it does have some kind of 3D-ness to it. Okay, just a bit around those edges. I don't want to do too much, just enough so you can see that it's a bit dark around the edges. Can you see that? That's just giving it a little bit of 3D shape. make sure it's shaded right into the middle. There. Okay, so now I'm going to wash my brush, and I am going to come back in on those clouds with slightly lighter grey, because they have come out quite dark, which is fine. But let's see if we can just lighten them up a bit more and also just give them some more definition. So I'm going to put the paint down. That's better. I don't mind that one behind being a bit darker, so we won't go mad. And then what I want to do is just use the edge of my brush to kind of just smudge the edges. I did this in the last one, just gives the effect of wispy clouds, because they are wispy, aren't they? They are fluffy, wispy clouds. Okay. So I'm going to do the same down below, just bring in a slightly lighter colour, start to create more shape. I will be coming in with even lighter colours. As we do the picture, I will want to keep lightening. Now again, I'm just going to come around to the edges and I'm going to fluff them. So I'm just gently, there's not much paint on my brush at all, I've made sure. And I'm literally just smudging the paint that's there. Because if we smudge it into the background, as I say, we get nice wispy clouds. And we want wispy clouds. There's not much of this cloud down here, but let's just give it another layer. And give it some wisp. Okay, right, so I'm going to come into the white. There we go. I think I've done too much white there. And what we're doing is we're just trying to mix that in with what grey is there, just to give it more of a realistic feel. Okay. If anything, the white should be more at the top, so I'm going to remove that with my finger. And we'll just make sure that the whole cloud is that colour. Again, just going to wisp out the ends. We'll come and tidy that up with blue in a minute. So this is why I like to do it without thinking too much beforehand, because I like you to see mistakes and I like you to see how to put things right. Now I'm just adding a bit of white into the clouds at the top. Don't want to put too much at the top. I do want it whiter at the top. And don't forget, we're going to keep coming in and out of the clouds until we get them how we want them. Okay. There. Right, so I'm going to leave them as they are for the minute. And we're going to go and start to do some detail on the actual reindeer. So for this, I'm definitely coming into my smaller angle brush. And we need a nice mid-brown, not too light, not too dark. So give me a moment, I'm just going to mix some of that. Now to make your brown, you need to mix red, yellow and blue. Mix the red, and then you can adjust it to what sort of brown you want. You can have a reddy brown, you can have a bluey brown. Okay, just decide what kind of brown you want, and then add white to it, which will lighten it for you so you can really see. Or add black to it if you want it to be quite dark. I think I've got the right colour now. Just don't want that much on my brush. Now you really don't want to put too much on your brush, because if you do, you're going to struggle. I actually think I might need a smaller brush again. Now this is the first layer, so don't worry if you can still see underneath and you've got brush strokes in there, because that will happen to start with. Now I'm using this angle brush just because, oh whoopsie, just because it gives me nice straight edges and it gets into those little nooks. So I am now, no, I'm not going to do the antlers yet. I was going to come and do the antlers, but I think I'm going to do them last. Just get the body shapes in first, and I may even need quite a smaller brush. So I'm still using my angled brushes because they are fab, but I am coming in with a much smaller brush because, yeah, that's helping a lot. I'm not feeling the pressure so much because I've got a nice small brush and I know I'm going to get in there and get it how I want. Just use the tip as well when you need to just use the tip. Remember, this is only the first go at the reindeer, so just get them in. Just get one layer of a mid-brown in best you can. If you've got a nice small detail brush, use it, but you don't really need it until the end. That's when we'll go in and really tidy them up. I was losing there, I didn't have enough paint, so just got to come it in and draw that in now. Okay, so give it a knee, needs a knee. Okay, and then we've got this one here. And if you paint in the direction of the animal, it will automatically give a feeling that there is an animal. There's a little ear here. So, and we'll do another little ear here. Okay. Right. So, not too much paint on your brush, remember, because you'll lose that detail. Just drawing in that leg there. You can come in, just be quiet. It's my son. I think he's hungry. So I'm just drawing in the legs, and this is where it can get really confusing. Like I said at the very beginning, the hardest part is the legs because it's difficult to work out which legs belong to which reindeer. But we shall do our best. Okay. So we need to get the legs in of, that's not that reindeer, is it? So, bye. So I'm going to put in this other reindeer that's behind here. And you can see there are antlers here, and there's a little face there. I think it's an ear, maybe. Yeah, it's an ear, and then there's another ear here. So we're kind of just getting in the basic shape of the different reindeer. So that's the back of that reindeer. Yeah, there we are, that's that one. And then its legs here. And to be honest, too much, don't worry about it too much, because when you get to the final overall design, it will all make sense, as people won't be looking at the legs and saying, oh, you've got a leg in the wrong place. And who's going to look at it anyway? You know, most of you, I know, just putting it in your sketchbooks and things. I do recommend most of my tutorials are just really good for mindfulness art, just something fun to do. Sketchbook activities. I'm pretty just chilled. I don't get like, I know there are some presenters that are really exciting, but yeah, I'm just me. So I hope you like a nice chilled person to teach you. Okay. Oh, too much paint. Be careful of that, as I said, especially with the detail. Now, all I'm doing now, because my paint is student grade paint that I teach you with, because I think it's best you learn in your student grade paints, because, you know, you will use a lot of paint when you're learning because, well, you need to do lots of practice. So yeah, I'll just go over again. Yep, that's fine. See, now you can see them darkening up a bit, which is good. I don't really understand where that leg's coming from, but anyway, we'll draw it in. It's coming from somewhere. It's coming from an animal somewhere. I think it's that first one. But anyway, okay. We'll draw that in. So I am just coming in again on the antlers on that one. I might just do this one as well now that they're in. Just want to be careful, make sure I haven't got much paint, and I really am just doing a fine edge as much as I can. So this antler comes up here and then across here and then up. And to be honest, although I'm doing it exactly as it is on the sheet, you don't have to. Just use your angle brush to get some antler shapes in. Yeah, it's just meant to be fun. Remember, we're just having fun here. There's no right or wrong. So now I'm not going to look, just to show you that that is fine. You can do that. Okay. Let's do the antlers of this one. So they need to be coming from between the ears. As long as you remember that, you can't go wrong. What we'll do is, at the end, as extra layers will come in with darker colours, lighter colours. We'll make sure that you can see them well. Right, so we did the antlers of this one. We're going to go in now and curl these ones out. I think that's that first one, and then we're going to come out this way for that one. Right, so they've all got a rough idea of antlers and things. The thing I'm more nervous about is the legs, but hey, we'll just do the best we can. Drawing them is one thing, but trying to paint them is another. Especially when, I mean, this is just on A5, but you could make it easier for yourself and do a bigger version. But I always tend to just do A5 because I buy A5 Frisk pads for doing these tutorials. I don't know if you've heard of Frisk, F-R-I-S-K. They're a really good, low cost papers. If you just Google Frisk, there's a few different suppliers out there. And yeah, you don't feel scared about using the paper and experimenting because they haven't cost you too much. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Lots of legs everywhere, which I said, but it doesn't really matter. You can kind of tell that there's 4 reindeer there, and that's fine. So now we're going to come to the sleigh. I don't know what colour to do the sleigh, because is it red? Maybe we'll do like a dark red. So we'll mix some red with a bit of black, and we'll do like a maroon coloured one. I mean, there isn't much of it there anyway, so I'm going to just turn it round. Keep sticking. And I think I'm just going to come in again with my angle brush, and we've got like a nice maroon colour to do the side of his sleigh. So this is just red with a little bit of black. Okay. So I'm just using the fine corner of my angle brush, and then I'm using the line to come round and finish off. I do love my angle brushes, as you will get to know. And then we need to do the front of it. So let's just come round there as though that's the front. Can you see? I'm just curling the front of the sleigh round. I will try and get in there. It's just, I want to pick enough paint up, but I'm trying not to pick too much up, if you know what I mean. I'm going to come in round there and do the front of the sleigh. Perfect. I like that. I like the dark red colour. It'll be great compared to him, because he will be bright red. And then I'm going to use, like, I think an orangey, mix a bit of red and yellow, add a bit of white, and then we come up with like a nice light orange, which I think would look nice around the edge, kind of almost giving it a golden look. Do you see? Can you see that? Yeah. So I'm just going to use the point to go around some of it. And there was this like swirly thing here, which I need to just make sure I've got more paint on the end. And we're just going to swirl that around to do our swirl. I think I'll just need to get a smaller detail brush for that. It's a bit too detailed for my... So, oh, it's too wet. Nope. Go back in that light orange and, oh. Right. There we go. I haven't dried the red, so it's coming into that. But you know what? I like it. I like it. Happy accidents. I love happy accidents. Right, we're going to come around here. And what colour should we do the inside of the seat? I think maybe just a yellow. Just do yellow, like a really pale yellow. I'll add lots of white. Just so that Santa stands out. Because he sat there. That's the inside. Let's do the top of the sledge there. Get some more of that gold, because that's kind of the sledge here behind. We need to see its other, like the other wheel. Not that they have wheels, it's the other sledge bit. You know what I mean. And there we go. There we are. And we'll bring that round. Just need a bit more here to make it stand out on that red. We'll probably just have to keep adding it because we need it to stand out. There we go. Okay. What's next? Oh, I see. That bit is coming there. Okay, and this bit is coming directly from here. Okay. Let's get Santa coloured, shall we? Let's get Santa and his sack coloured. So again, I've got my... I'm going to put that brush down. I'm waving it about. I'm going to put my detail brush loaded with a bit of red paint. And there is the sack in the back. So we've got to get that in nice and red. And we just want it in there. Sorry if I just got my head in. I'm doing the detail. I lean in and I forget. I forget all about you. I forget all about you and needing to actually see what I'm doing. I think it's just a gap there. So I'll just draw him in there. And draw him in there. Yeah, that's just his hand there. I'm going to draw in his hands with as you can see, it's very fine detail and I really am using the point of my brush. I'm going to draw his hands in complete black. So I have a very dry brush with a little bit of black on. That's one hand, that's the other hand. And in a minute I'll draw the reins once we finish the reindeer. He needs a bit of a light grey beard, so let's go in with some very light grey there. He also needs a little bit on his ruffles here. That's on his hands. Okay. Oh, God, brush stuck in my jumper. Right, so he also needs a bit of grey on his hat, because that's where the fur is on his hat. Now we need to get a little bit of skin colour, and just put a bit of skin colour in there, and we can always draw eyes in a minute. But as you can see, that will be a real detail point. Right, I need to come back with, I think, my angle brush. Now I really do want to come in and lighten up some of that brown. It needs to be much lighter. Okay, now the lighter parts are going to be kind of on top of the reindeer. So what we want to do is kind of blend in gently. I'm hardly touching the paper. Some of that lighter colour onto their backs. Okay, and they'll have a little bit lighter on the tops of their ears. There we are. And over the back. And over the back of the one behind. Don't want to forget that one. Now, I do need to make sure there's not much on my brush, so I can just quickly blend that in. Okay. So we do want to have that light a bit there. Don't forget, we can come in with the darker again in a minute. So I'll just blend in some of that. Slightly darker. Just need to get their faces in. I will draw the detail of the faces in at the end, so don't worry about that. Same as the legs. And we are coming up towards the end of doing the reindeer now, and then we just need to look again at the whole thing and come back and see where do we need to make changes. So I think actually I will come in with my detail brush. I've got quite a dark brown colour here. I don't really want to use black. We'll see. Let's see what the brown looks like. I don't think it's dark enough. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we're going to stick their hooves on. So we've got some hooves. That kind of helps to bring them to life a bit more as well. Just giving them some hooves, and it makes their legs look a bit more realistic. So if you do have any comments about anything, any questions you want to ask me, please do. All my details are in the comments below, so please just ask. I have been painting for quite a few years. I am a working artist in England. I sell my art and my gift range, which you'll see in the links below. I do also sell my art books. Basically, the art books are all of the things that you can get on the channel membership, all of those downloads, but they're in the books. So if you prefer the book, they're in the links below. If you prefer to download and print, then all you need to do is join the channel. Okay, so I am coming in now with some quite dark brown, and I'm just emphasizing the bottom of them now. Okay, so giving them that dark tummy underneath, and then I'm going to come in with a wet brush and kind of just work it up so that it looks a bit more blended in and doesn't look like too much of a purposeful shadow. Okay, and then they start to come to life a bit, don't they? So I'm going to do the same with the underneath of their little faces. Make them a bit darker. Again, it just gives that little bit of reality. Right, they do need to have noses now. That would be useful. So I'm going to give them some little noses. Yep. That's nice. And then some eyes. They just really need a little eye here. And one for you there. Okay, now they're antlers. So I want to come in with the dark brown and kind of go underneath what I've already done. And then go underneath some of the extra antler parts that are sticking up, because that also shows that their 3D as well, and they have light and shade. It's always about when you've done your basic colour, it's about going in with a darker colour and a lighter colour to bring them to life and show that they're 3D and that will be affected by the light that's around them. There will be really darker parts, and there will be lighter parts. So really, I'm just going around now, putting in the darker colours of the reindeer wherever I feel they should be. Like this leg's behind, so I'm going to do that leg a bit darker. And this leg's behind, so I'm going to do that one a bit darker. Okay, so anything that's behind, I don't think that should be there actually. I think that's part of the moon. I'm going to have to go over that in grey. I've just realised that is not actually a part of anything. Let's go in with our moon colour. Oh, very, very pale. That was not pale, that was too grey. Part of the reason why I like having paper here is I can just check. I always have it underneath my work and I can just check what I'm doing. I'm struggling to get a really, really pale colour, right? So coming in with white really now, just to fill that in. I want to get it right. But what's nice is that we can come in with white in a bit and put lots of more whiter bits in. Right, so I still need some dark for this antler at the back, and because he is in the back he can be a bit darker anyway. Okay, right, so now I'm going to come in, and I'm coming in with a lighter colour because I still just want to lighten things up a little bit more with our reindeer. Okay, just little highlights now across their back and up their neck. Imagining the lights coming from above them, that's what would happen, wouldn't it? So let's get some light coming up above them. There we go. Now that's bringing them to life. I just love the magic of value. I mean, it doesn't even matter how well you have or have not painted. If you have put values in, no matter what colour you're using, I could have painted them purple, right? They would have still looked realistic if you had your values in. If there's anything, any piece of advice I can give you, it's get your values in. Get your lights, your darks, your mids. Start with your mids and then come in and start playing around with shadows and darkness. Okay, so now they're looking much more realistic. We need to do this is the bit that is quite tricky, so we need to draw the lines across their face like that. So you really do need to have a detail brush for this. A 0. I've got a 0. You don't need any smaller than that. Just make sure you've only got a tiny bit of paint on the end. Okay. And try and press lightly. I pressed quite hard then. So on this guy we need to come around here and around here. And I'm going to use my Posca pen. Right. I want to draw the reins in with my Posca pen because it does need to be so detailed and I don't really want to get it wrong. So we're going to come here along there. Where does that then go? Then that goes over to the other one up here. What I haven't drawn in is their little things here, and I'm going to draw them in just black. So if you haven't got a Posca pen, don't worry, you can just do this with your black paint and okay, that's it. So I'm going to come in again with the Posca, and I am just going to come around, do their feet with a bit of extra black, just because they've got that at the top. Just going to make sure I've got all of the dark bits put in. I'm even coming in with a bit of dark pen now as well, just to make sure that they are dark. The acrylic pens are great. I'm just now scanning. I need to give him some eyes. Okay, he's got a little face. You can't really see it very much, but that's fine. It's time for, I think, just missed a bit of that cloud out down there. That nice light grey cloud. Let's just put that in. Need some more water. We mustn't forget the parcels in the back, because that is the reason why he's out and about, isn't it? Let's get some green. We'll have a green one. Have a green one there. And let's have an orange one, because we've got orange in the sleigh. I like to bring colours back into different areas. Okay. And then we can do red on the top, because then it's not clashing with any other red on the sleigh or on Santa. And what we can do is just draw a little string. You can actually just do this with a black fine liner just around the sack, so it looks like it's there for a reason. Okay, now with the moon, I am going to come in with pure white and just draw in some lines like that, because I think that's just makes it sparkle a bit. Okay, talking about sparkle, you could actually put some nice shiny glittery pens on this, couldn't you? So I'm going to come in now with a round. There it is. And with the rounds, we're going to come in and we're going to brighten up those clouds a bit. Oh, there's a bit of pink in that one. That's all right, I don't mind. And we're literally just putting in little fluffy cloud kind of wisps and shapes. And white nearer the top, because that's where the light will be. And then we'll come in towards the bottom and put some more darker greys in. So please, if you haven't already, please do subscribe below. It really helps my channel to grow. It helps the algorithm pick up that people are liking my things, and yeah, it helps so much. And if you could like or comment or anything, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm putting a bit lighter at the top, and I'm just really just squiggling it in. Yeah, making it wispy, as wispy as I can. Oh, that really was red. I don't want red in my cloud. I've been using these paints throughout all of my pictures, so the colours are mixing in a bit. We don't want a red cloud. It's fine to have that there because it's like a reflection, but I'm not all that bothered about it being red. It's fine, it's a bit pink, it's fine. I'm at that point where I'm just like, it's fine. I nearly put my brush in my tea. Luckily I have drank it all, but that's another common artistic thing, putting our brushes in our drink. Right, some of this, and I'm just wisping it. I just want to make the clouds wispy. I like wispy clouds. And although I am really happy with the blue, I am just going to come in with some areas where I can still see that white underneath, and just tidying up the edges of the reindeer, tidying up the edge of the moon. And at the end of the day, this is going in your sketchbook, so you can be as detailed you want as you want with it. But I do recommend just spending time finishing off, going in, and just because they do make a difference, these little extra touches at the end. Just stepping back, taking a look and thinking, what needs to change? What do I need to do for next time? That's it. That's all you need to do. Okay. that's all I'm doing now. I'm just playing. I probably really do need to change the red on that cloud, don't I? I think it's dry now. I just don't want a grey that's too dark. There we go, that's better. Now I'm just doing like scribbles with a darker one just to come in and create that, the darker shadows in the clouds. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now it's time for the snow, and we do love a bit of snow. So for snow, you want to be getting a big brush, a big round brush like this. Mine's grubby. You want to be getting lots of white paint and only white paint, but you want to be making sure it's a really wet mixture so that it is going to make snow marks when we bang the brush. It needs to kind of come off the end of the brush. Make sure there's a nice watery mixture on the end of the brush. Get another brush like this and we're just going to tap, okay? And what I suggest you do is tap from different directions. We're going all the way over. We want it to look very, very snowy. Now, I don't know if you noticed, different to the picture, I haven't included all of the detail that you've got in the pictures. Oh, nearly got a blob on then. You've got to be careful. Don't get any big blobs, big watery blobs, because that will ruin it. Make sure you're getting it all around and in the corners, across the edges, as well as all over your painting. It needs to look very snowy. There we go. Okay, I think we're done. But as I say, you can keep going in. You could even use your liner pen. I mean, I can't see Santa very well there, so maybe just give him a few little bits in his beard. Yeah, you might want to go back in and just use some liner pens or some marker pens. Right, we're going for the big reveal, everyone. Let's do this. I do love this bit. And I don't know why I wasn't doing it on the other ones. I just thought about it yesterday, before I came and did them, that that's what I was going to do from now on. All the traceables that I do are in square format, so if you've only got, like me, like A5 or A4 paper, you will have to create that edge. Okay, we're there. We're done. I hope you like it. It's a really good thing to use for your sketchbook, for just some mindfulness art, or if you wanted to make Christmas cards, whatever you want to do. So thanks for watching. If you've managed to watch all the way through, thank you so much. If not, if you are still here, please subscribe and like and comment and share. I'd appreciate it much, and please consider joining the channel. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one, everyone. Bye.